What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Ronda here, and I'm back with another video. So we all know about the situation going on in the Middle East with the U.S., Israel versus Iran. That war was going on. Recently, Pakistan proposed a ceasefire, and it went into effect yesterday. There was a ceasefire, but prior to that, President Donald Trump made deadly threats saying a whole civilization would die, which would have been April 7th, 2026. If Iran didn't meet the deadline for having the Strait of Hormuz open, but like 2 or 3 hours before then, there was a ceasefire. There was an agreement. Let's put it like that. I lost my train of thought there. So we all know about the situation there. Now, what we have to watch out for is, could this potentially be a trick or something? Because we don't know how Iran is going to really hold up to this ceasefire. Is they going to find a reason why they need to attack U.S. bases over in the Middle East? Why they need to attack Israel? Is Israel going to hold up to the ceasefire? Or is America going to hold up to the ceasefire? That's the real question here. Because Iran already was so adamant about not doing a ceasefire at all. There was no negotiation talks, and the plenty times that America seemed to have lied on Iran during this war. Iran probably did a lot of lying on this war too, but the United States did attack an all-girls elementary school in the Middle East, which make me believe it was in session because it also killed children at that school. So most likely that school was in session. The war started back in February 28th, 2026, and we are currently in April. It's April 8th, 2026. So that war been going on for a little bit now, and we are still dealing with it. I thought this war wasn't supposed to take long, but it just keep being extended. We know the United States been sending troops over to the Middle East. Recently there has been the 82nd Airborne taken from Fort Bragg, which is 2 hours away in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Been stationed or deployed to the Middle East too. We know we have a lot of aircraft carriers and stuff over in the Middle East as well. We know we recently lost AWACS plane. If you guys don't know what an AWACS plane looked like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, this is the plane that has a radar on the top of it, a big radar on the top of it. So you guys can look that up by the U.S. Air Force. But it was like 2 weeks ago, it was struck by the Iranians. And also that base was also struck. It also caused damage and wounded a few soldiers, American soldiers. So that's what happened there. We also had the situation of the missing pilot. Well, I think it was 3 or 4 U.S. aircrafts that was shot down. One of them that was looking for a missing pilot after it ejected from one of the fighter jets was also shot down. So the one that was helping to look for that pilot. So we know that situation, down a few aircrafts, but pretty sure we have a lot more ongoing. But back to the ceasefire, I have a feeling somebody's going to find some reason to, violate or break the ceasefire. Either it's going to be Iran, because again, Iran was so adamant of not doing a ceasefire with the United States. President Donald Trump said during the start of the war that he don't see no reason to negotiate with Iran when we're literally obliterating the other side. There was already situations going on that Iran was saying there wasn't no negotiations going on with the United States. We was negotiating with ourselves. The United States saying negotiations were going well with Iran, just to come back and say Iran needed to get serious with the negotiations, and Iran is still saying there was no negotiations. So it's a lot of he say, she say situation going on there. Excuse me, guys, my allergies are bothering me. This weather been really crazy for most people here in America, but I blame it on climate change. But regardless, back to the ceasefire, it's more of a he say, she say situation. So we got to watch out, because since there's a 2-week ceasefire, I have a feeling somebody out of Israel, United States, or Iran is going to find some reason why they need to attack attack one another. Now we know that actually happens because Russia isn't innocent. Russia likes to do ceasefire when they do come up with a ceasefire. Very rare, but you come up with a ceasefire with Ukraine, has to find some reason show before it happens, or just a few days late before it ends, or a few days later to attack Ukraine, which we're still dealing with that war in Europe, was supposed to be done by our president. Say he was going to have that done within 24 hours, that war over with. But look at what it's currently April 8th, 2026. That war started back in February 2022, and it's still ongoing to this day. And that war is, Zelensky, he voiced his opinions a few times, and I think other NATO countries did too. But we focus so much on the Middle East, we can't forget about Ukraine, and they need help and support and stuff like that too. I'm pretty sure other European countries, pretty sure the United States is helping Ukraine here and there, but not as we used to, because we're currently fighting a war with Iran. Will the Strait of Hormuz stay open? I can't tell you, but I don't even think it opened yet. But one of the stipulations was the Strait to be reopened. I feel like it's going to be closed once the ceasefire is over. Or again, Iran might be the one that plays around saying, "Oh, we're going to do the ceasefire. We agree to the ceasefire," and break it and continue to attack Israel and U.S. bases all across the Middle East. Now, meanwhile, Israel is also fighting Lebanon, and in one of the articles I did read this morning that Lebanon, Israel said they're gonna, well, Israeli official told reporters that Israel was going to continue to attack Lebanon. So they're not part of the ceasefire. Personally, I think we all should have been part of the ceasefire, because I think Lebanon attacked Israel when the war first started in retaliation to the attacks that the U.S. Israel did on Iran. So it's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East that we gotta watch out for, because again, I believe somebody's gonna break the ceasefire. I can't tell you what country, but I could be wrong. But I can't tell you what country, but somebody, I have a feeling, can break the ceasefire, because one country, the United States first said again that our president said he don't see no reason to negotiate with Iran when we're literally obliterating the other side. Why we was lying on their country, Iran was saying that we was lying. So just a lot of stuff, and it's not making sense. And we already know the situation that we have sleeper cells in the United States, and Iran won't forget about the attack the United States did on that girls' school and continue to attack civilian infrastructure. Now, Iran did have a deadline before then, like about 2-3 Fridays ago, actually 2 weeks ago, they had a deadline which was extended, and President Donald Trump did give them another deadline, which was supposed to end at 8 p.m. Eastern time, April 7th, guys. You know, when we move into a new month, you're still thinking of the previous months like it was March, and now we're in April. I'm still saying March sometimes, so I got it. You guys know. Pretty sure some of you guys deal with that. But back on April 7th, Tuesday, April 7th, they had a deadline. President Trump gave them where the whole civilization would die over in the Middle East. Well, not in the Middle East, but in Iran. He was going to attack bridges, power plants, and civilian infrastructure. He also said he was not worried about no war crime. What a war crime is having nuclear weapons. Technically, the United States have nuclear weapons. Russia have nuclear weapons. We so much focus on Iran allegedly making nuclear weapons, and we have a country that's way closer to us, Russia, and they have thousands of nuclear missiles that we've constantly been threatening to use. Probably won't use it, but regardless, he's been, since the war started, threatening to use it on Ukraine, use it on Europe, use it on the United States, and stuff like that. So, we worried about one thing in the Middle East that's way further from us, one country that can't really reach us with any missiles. But we have a country that's way closer to us, Russia, which potentially can reach the United States. And that's been making nuclear threats. So, somebody who is allegedly in the process of making nuclear weapons, we're worried about them making a nuclear weapon versus a country that's already have thousands of them and threatening to nuke NATO countries, the United States. It's just not making sense. We cannot forget about the situation, too, with China potentially invading Taiwan in the coming years. So it's a possibility that happens, but I do see China probably going after Taiwan. They've been having their issues over there. North Korea, South Korea have been having their issues. Cambodia and Thailand have been having their issues as well, on and off. So, but the main focus here is now the U.S., Israel, Iran, and Lebanon situation that's going on in the Middle East. And it seemed like the Russia-Ukraine war is not getting too much attention because America is at war. So, it's a lot of stuff going on that we got to just pay attention to, especially as we get into the warmer months. We know Iran is definitely out to get us for possibly retaliating for us attacking that all-girls school. Yes, they was killing their protesters allegedly, but regardless, two wrongs don't make a right, and we went after children. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, as we get into the warmer months, we got to pay attention to, as we know, we have more, football games, basketball games, concerts and stuff will be going on, and you don't know. Yes, it might be security, you get checked and stuff, but security can't check they probably gonna check every single person, but they can't find every little thing. So you got to be careful of a potential terrorist attack. And you don't have to be no big city like Raleigh, Charlotte, New York City, let's say Boston, or Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, Miami. There's so many big cities in America. They don't have to be in those. It could be a mid-sized city to a small town where there's a big gathering of some sort. A terrorist attack is a terrorist attack, regardless of where it has. Most people might think a terrorist attack will happen in a huge city. But it can happen also in smaller towns that have, like, little concerts, gatherings, and stuff like that. Regardless, a terrorist attack is terrorist attack. It was intentional. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. I will be having an article coming out, if not today, tomorrow. It's currently 3:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April 8th. I said March again, April 8th, 2026. So you guys just have to stay vigilant. We're going to have to make sure the ceasefire holds, stay, and potentially become into not just a ceasefire. The war actually ends between the United States and Iran. Apparently, both sides is claiming victory. We know that with this war, the United States said Iran didn't have no military, but and hardly any missiles. But Iran been ramping up their attacks before the ceasefire and taking out our important planes and bases and stuff like that in the Middle East, which costs a lot of money, especially having to replace the planes, build up your missile stockpiles and stuff like that. So regardless, it's just a lot of stuff going on. Even, matter of fact, before I end this video, even the countries that don't have nothing to do with this war was warning that the United States should not go after Iran and Israel. Since the Strait of Hormuz was closed, everybody in every country in the world was suffering or seeing a decrease in sales and stuff like that, or shipments, let's say it like that, shipments and stuff coming into their country because the Strait of Hormuz was closed. We saw gas prices go up. Some states was ranging $4 plus for regular gas. Here in North Carolina, where I live, it was the highest, I think, was $6.02 for diesel. And if the strait remained closed, they was already talking about it, but gas could potentially reach $5 a gallon for regular. Now, California is used to gas like that, but if they already have gas prices, well, places like California have high gas prices, imagine how high their prices was for regular alone. If they range between like $4, $5, maybe $6, something like that. I'm not from California. That's all on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast. So with that being said, just imagine how their prices would have risen and would have been a big disaster. And also we coming into hurricane season, which starts I think June 1st and runs to November 30th. So imagine if a hurricane would have came, people would have had to fill up gas cans for their generator, have extra gas, their vehicles and stuff like that. It would have been a mess and expensive, and especially if you have to evacuate. Hotels you still have to pay for and stuff like that if you don't have like an RV or family close by you can go to. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time you upload a new video. Just want to bring that to you guys' attention. We got to be careful to make sure the ceasefire stays for the whole 2 week and potentially become permanent into the war. So with that being said, it's your boy Ronnie here, right here. Ow, stumbled my words there, but see you guys.